Hello and welcome once again to another episode of Fun or Run. This is Chad the Gaming Dad here on Dad's Games, and today we answer the question, is Flatout 4 fun or should you run? Run away from this thing. So first off, we need to set this up a little bit. Back when the original Xbox was out, GameCube, PS2, all of that, there were some really good racing games that came out. Burnout was my favorite, with the crash mode and all that stuff, but Flatout came out as well. Something about the one-word title or something. Flatout, Burnout, ooh, it's so crazy. Whatever. So Burnout had this really fast driving action with crazy crashes and all that stuff. The thing that Flatout did differently than Burnout was that it was a little bit more arcadey, if you can believe that, because Burnout's kind of arcadey, but a little bit more arcadey in Flatout. And they had this really cool mechanic where the driver of your car would go flying out the windshield. I mean, no seatbelts on at all in this game. The guy would just shoot straight through the windshield when you got in a big wreck. And it was super cool, and it was also really funny because the guy would go, ah, you know, and jump out the window, and it was crazy. And then not just with the racing, but they always had a ton of mini games. You would use this, you know, flying human body out the windshield thing as, you know, a bowling ball or a dartboard, or to see how far you could shoot him up in the air, a high jump. There are all kinds of crazy mini games where you would fire your guy through the windshield. So that was Flatout's claim to fame. Burnout had better racing, and it had the cool crash mode and everything. But Flatout had the mini games. So that brings me to the game in question today here on Fun or Run, Flatout 4 Total Insanity. So if you look at the box, it says it's bigger, louder, and better. Well, I'm here to tell you that I'm not so sure about that. Now, I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to racing games because I really like them. And I also really like these throwback type games. I mean, let's face it, we don't get games like Flatout or Burnout very often anymore. Need for Speed tries to be kind of like that, but I just don't think it cuts it, right? So Flatout 4 is an arcade racer at heart. And they didn't forget about all the mini games. They've got a ton of mini games in here. But what I'm going to do during this review on Fun or Run of Flatout 4 is I'm going to tell you some of the positive things, and then I'm going to tell you some of the negative things. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that this game has racked up quite a bit of negative things and one unforgivable. And I'll get to that here in a sec. So let's start off with some of the good stuff. Okay? The environments in this game, they look pretty good. I like them. They're nice. But the car detail, the thing that you're staring at the most while you're racing, the actual car, looks kind of like crap to me. It looks like a PS3 era type of a car model, and not even the best one on PS3. There's a whole bunch of different races that you can do, and you start off in career mode, and as you go you unlock more things. But I started off in career mode, and the first few races are really easy. You don't have to try all that hard. You can usually win by quite a lot. Sometimes if you have some wrecks or something like that, it might be a little bit closer. So the standard races are pretty fun, although at the beginning in career mode they're super easy. You have just enough money at the beginning of the game to pick a car and then start into career mode. And this is supposed to be the slowest car that you're going to get and everything. But if you've played any other racing games before, this isn't your first racing game, you're probably going to win right away. And it doesn't put up much of a fight, honestly. And then that brings me to the progression in this game. As you win races, you win money. But they don't give you very much money. They give you a little tiny bit of money. You're going to be replaying these races a million times because, let me just look at this. The first car that you're able to buy that is the next level up from just like the beginner races, the very next level of car is $30,000 for the car, which that's just a, you know, who cares? 30,000, that's an arbitrary number until you realize that even when you win a cup, like 3 or 4 races in a row kind of thing, you get like $1,000 for that. Do you want to play a game where it's super easy and you're just redoing the same races over and over again 30 times in order to unlock the next mode, which hopefully is a little bit harder? I don't. That's not fun. When you're racing, there is a really cool nitro. You hit nitro and you go super fast, and it has a really great looking effect. Really makes you feel like you're going fast and you're going crazy, and then eventually you crash and your dude shoots right through the windshield. But what? No scream. Where's the where's that at? I need that. I need that in my, I keep wanting to call it Fallout. It's Flatout. That's what I want in Flatout. So that's just the basic races, okay? And that's not that great. But then they do have other modes in there. They've added this assault mode, which is kind of not as good as Mario Kart kind of thing, where you get like 3 or 4 different weapons and you drive around and each weapon has a cooldown. You shoot it and then you have to wait for a while to shoot it again. One's like a magnet that goes on top of the car. The other one shoots a mine out or something. Not that great. It's okay. A little variation on the standard race. The other mode that they have in here that I actually really like is the arena mode, which is like a demolition derby. Kind of reminds me of some of these old PS1 games, like Destruction Derby, things like that. See, this game, that's the problem with it, is it keeps reminding me of old games that I liked to play before. Thing is it's not really doing anything any better than the old games did. So you might as well go back and play the old games. Because this one isn't lighting the world on fire with graphics or anything either. I did like, though, that when you're driving around, at least in assault mode, I think, if you hit the horn, your driver puts his hand out, you know, raise the roof style. Whoop, whoop, yeah, raise the roof. That's always fun. So those are the races, and now we move into the mini-games. There's a whole bunch of different mini-games in here that you get to do. Problem that I have with the mini-games is that they all involve driving your car for a few seconds to get it up to speed, and then shooting your guy out the window. Again, he doesn't scream. Need the screams, guys. Bring screams back. Do a DLC patch. Free DLC. Adding Screaming Driver to Flatout 4. That would be great. Please make it happen. But yeah, you basically just drive your car, shoot the guy out, and do a different thing. Which, there's a baseball mode where you shoot the guy out and you have to aim him at a bat, and then he bounces off the bat and gets some points or score. There's finish pins, which to me it's like bowling, but each pin has a number on it. Didn't spend a lot of time understanding that one, but I guess you're supposed to fire the guy out and hit stuff. There's the flaming rings, the rings of fire. Those ones are kind of cool because you have to go just the right speed to shoot the guy through the rings of fire. So that's exciting. There's skipping him across water. There's soccer. There's all kinds of just silly mini games. There's curling. Your guy turns into a curling rock or stone or whatever. But you see what I'm saying? They're all the same. They put a different coat of paint around it. You run your guy up, fire him out the window, and then he goes and lands somewhere. They even have golf. Your guy turns into the golf ball, shooting out the window. He doesn't really turn into a ball, it's just a guy. But he flies out the window and you gotta get him into a hole. So even though each one of those is kind of fun and you'll have a laugh, and believe me, I was playing it with my kids. Kids love this game. If you have some little kids out there and they like racing games and they want this to be like, you know, baby's first race game, this might fit the bill because it's got some funny stuff with the driver falling out and everything. Kids were laughing at it. We were really laughing, having a good time. Problem is, lasts about 5 minutes, and then you've seen it. There's no more laughing at the mini games after the guy does the same animation and falls down and, you know, turns into a ragdoll of humanity each time. It's the same thing. So, really the only thing in this game that could have saved it for me is it shows that it has local multiplayer and online multiplayer. Okay? Now, the local multiplayer is no racing. There's no split screen races or anything like that. The only thing you can do locally is up to 8 players passing the controller around doing mini games. Now, I don't think that's so fun. I mean, for a minute, like I said, 5 minutes. Give it 5, give it 10 minutes. Shooting the guy out the window, turning into some contortion of human body, falling down on the ground. That's funny for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then you and your 7 other friends, if you have 8 people playing this, are going to change the game to something else. There is no online minigames. So you can't go into a room or do any kind of party mode or anything online at all. The party mode is local. No racing local, but no party mode online. But trust me, it's no big loss, because I tried to play online. I tried specific races, and then I even went as far as to just let it do the matchmaking where you say any race. Every time I did that, it came back with no races found, and it generated a race with me as the host. No one's there. I don't know whether nobody bought the game. This isn't a real high-profile game, so perhaps nobody bought it. But I've also seen some things on YouTube and read some things online that this game has some broken online. So that's the thing I was talking about at the beginning that's absolutely unforgivable. When you put out a game, and one of the features of your game is that you can play it online with other people, you need to make sure that works. I just don't understand what companies are thinking when one of the main things that is a part of your game just doesn't work, but they release it anyway and sell it to people like that. I'll bet that's not patched out anytime soon as far as making the online work, because let's face it, this game's not a big deal. I had high hopes for it. I really wanted it to be fun, and I wanted to go back to the glory days of racing arcade style, you know, but it's just not. A couple other things that were disappointing for me in this game. I come from a long time ago playing Gran Turismo where you use the analog sticks, one of them for steering, one of them for gas and brake, right? You can't do that in this game. You go into the menu and you go into settings and you go to set what you want your stick to do, and all the other buttons you can map, but the stick, it says, oh no, sorry, that's reserved for something else. So that sucked. I was playing through the story mode. I unlocked some cars thinking, oh, okay, cool, maybe I don't have to spend $30,000 of in-game currency to get this car, right? I unlocked it because I won. And then I go and I see that it's now available to buy. Don't worry about microtransactions. It's not that they're trying to get real money out of you or anything. It's just that you're going to have to play the same boring races, the easy races over and over again just to get enough money to unlock the next car, which honestly, the next car might not be that great. The cars do feel a little bit different from one another, which is nice, but is it worth it? I don't think so. There's some stupid names and just trying to get that super cool 90s or 2000s attitude kind of thing going on with the characters. I didn't like the characters very much. And the music is just about as generic as you get. It's just your typical generic sort of alternative-ish rock stuff. People you've never heard of, bands you've never heard of. They didn't really want to pay a lot of money, apparently, for any licenses or something, so they got some... I don't know if these guys are like local bands or cover bands or what, but they don't strike me as being like real big deals. But you know, music is passable, but it's not great. So anyway, I'm sure all of you know where I'm going with this one. I really wanted to have fun with it, and I will go back and play it every now and then with very much lowered expectations than what I originally bought it. But overall, I just can't recommend it. It's a mess when online doesn't work, when half of the features of the game, half the game is racing, the other half is the party mode with all of the mini games, and they split that between local multiplayer and online multiplayer. That's just weird, but who cares, because it's broken anyway. It's like I said, this game keeps reminding me of old games that I really liked back in the day, and I suggest everybody just goes and plays the old Burnout and the old Flatout, because you're going to get actually just as much fun, if not more, with the old games than you are with this one. And yeah, the old Xbox Live and other servers are shut down for those old games, so you can't play those online. But hey, this one just came out and you can't play online with this one either, so go figure. So for Flatout 4 Total Insanity, the verdict here on Fun or Run for this game is run. Run away from this game. It's just not worth it right now because it's just not a great effort. It's okay. It's just barely okay. But here on Dad's Games and on Fun or Run, okay is not going to get a recommendation from me. So once again, this game, run. And until next time, remember, you never outgrow video games. My name's Chad the Gaming Dad, and this is Dad's Games. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. So long, everybody. Thanks again for watching. If you liked that video, please press like and subscribe. I love hearing from you guys, so leave your comments and any suggestions down below. Remember, there's tons of other gamers out there just like you and me, and they also know that you never outgrow video games. Feel free to share these videos all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever you use. This channel is for all of us. Let's make sure they know that they are not alone. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.